wanted to talk about a little bit about what we do in state and local government, which I think is a good audience participating here today. Again, a lot of our solutions, they work in multiple verticals. So just to introduce myself, and again, John, interrupt me if anything doesn't come through cleanly. But I'm Steve Jin. I'm the Sales Operations Director in Northern California. I've been with the company about 9 years, and I've been helping out with mobility and security, network security challenges for all of those 9 years. So just to talk a little bit about who Aruba is, we've been a company for over 18 years, and back in 2015, we ended up merging with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. What you know about Aruba is Aruba's been a mobile-first company, so our entire strategy, everything that we do is built for mobility. It's built to allow this explosion of devices and people and things to get connected from anywhere they are in a secure manner. We also have mastered BYOD, or bring your own device. So whether it be an enterprise or be an agency like Santa Clara County or City and County of San Francisco like SFO, and you go to the airport there, you are engaging with Aruba's BYOD technology. So these are some of the things that we built our business on. We've also relevant in the wired access and core. HPE as a company had been in that space for 30 plus years. And so we've got their world-class wired switching, which is number 2 in overall volume worldwide, that we are bringing to bear. And we've just refreshed the portfolio. So we've got a brand new lineup that's very exciting for folks to view. We do WAN and cloud. So we will help to connect all the edge users that connect here back to your data center, whether it be in the Azure or AWS or Google public cloud or in a hybrid cloud. And we do that with our SD-WAN technology called Silver Peak. So we do that with WAN acceleration. We do that with security overlaid over that WAN architecture, and that helps you to reduce your cost significantly if you end up choosing Aruba's tech there. We also do IoT. So because our radios are built with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee radios, your IoT devices, which are exploding all over the place, and we see 55 million of them coming to bear in the next few years, we provide an on-ramp for them to get onto the network. And then lastly, we support the data center. So you will have many centers of data. Our networking technology makes it possible to manage that and to get access to whatever applications are built there. And overall, I think we like to say we're built to adapt. We're built to last. We've been around for a long time. We are a Gartner Magic Quadrant leader for 15 years running.
And I just want to add that, Steve, if you can go back just 1 second, with all the proliferation of the BYOD devices, the ever expanding IoT devices, what's great about Aruba is not only do we have the infrastructure to help manage these and secure all of these devices, but our management interface, a single pane of glass, makes it super easy to manage all these devices, all of your users, all of the IoT on a single pane of glass. And as Steve will get into here, we have integrations with over 150 different vendors. So it's not, this is Aruba, but built to adapt. You'll see later on in the presentation that we have over 150 integrations with other partners, only making this solution even stronger. So,
Great point there. So let's talk a little bit about Aruba's 18-year journey. How did we go from focusing on Wi-Fi to becoming a leader across multiple segments of networking? We started out in 2003 shipping our first Wi-Fi access points. Then came the iPhone, and that really flipped the world upside down. So what did you have to do when the iPhone started coming into the enterprise? You had to find a way to secure it. So we came out with a security software that would bring security, that would bring role-based access control to those devices. Our technology is actually used in the Pentagon to help them secure those devices and make sure that they are encrypted and that they are able to get back to the network. Because again, these consumer devices were never built for the enterprise when originally brought to market. Then came the IoT and user experience changes in how we work, meaning, based on location, based on the IoT devices you want to get on, we had to innovate what's called dynamic segmentation. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that, but that's a way for an unmanaged device like a building control or a sensor to be able to connect to your network, but also limit it from the damage that could be done in case it becomes compromised. We also, we then merged with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise to become a full end-to-end cloud networking and edge switching company. We migrated our cloud to manage all of our infrastructure. We added their edge switching portfolio to the Aruba portfolio and Arubatized it and made it so that it had this automated security just like WLAN. Comes next, we invested in our AI operations and our user experience monitoring, meaning that our network is so smart, it's crunching data in the cloud. It's actually telling you where you can optimize, where you can make things better. We also added SD-WAN and Wi-Fi 6 to help with, unifying, the edge, which is the network that Aruba provides, all the way back to the data center, so that you can now get to your applications, and you could do that from anywhere in the world. Wi-Fi 6 to support this exploding volume of devices that are now getting on the network. And then finally, we integrated a new data center switching platform, which we announced last week with John Chambers, who leads Pensando and former CEO of Cisco Systems. We've implemented things like contact tracing. So if you're now a public agency and you're trying to reopen, you can now help to see who's maybe been in the same vicinity as another person that may have come in contact with the virus, and we can help you to mitigate that and future spread. We've also innovated as a service offering, so you can consume our cloud as a service, or you can consume an entire network as a service solution. So for any size customer, that wants to offload their operations to Aruba, we have a way for you to do that. And then finally, we integrated Silver Peak SD-WAN into our portfolio, and all of this has really helped us to accelerate our response and accelerate the adoption of the edge, so that we can now respond to some of the COVID-19 requirements that are coming forth. So that's been our journey. And again, we're talking specifically in state and local, but Aruba solutions are relevant in the retail space. We do, locations like McDonald's and Home Depot, Starbucks. Those are places where you might have engaged in Aruba network before. And it's all because we provided them the right way to manage and scale. We do this in industrial and manufacturing facilities. So there are well-known electric car manufacturers that are using Aruba's technology in their warehousing and their manufacturing plants. We do a lot of schools. So across the state of California, the full Cal State University system is standardized on Aruba. We also do a lot of K-12 schools. So here locally, San Jose Unified, Eastside Union High School District, Santa Clara County Office of Ed, they are all using our technology. We do stadiums like the Chase Center and Levi Stadium, healthcare like Valley Medical Center, hospitality like Nobu, a high-end hospitality partner who's building out hotels across the country. And again, state and local government, you'll see Aruba in the legislative data center, in the franchise tax board, in other local agencies like San Mateo County and Santa Clara County. And what is it that operators are trying to figure out? They want to improve experiences for users at the edge, and by doing so, they will increase revenue. And which is always super important for any business. If they can generate more income, they're going to have that flexibility to do more and deliver more services to the end users. What are they also trying to do? They're trying to decrease costs. They want to find operational efficiency. They want to increase the profitability. They want to innovate faster with less people. And so these are things that the customers are looking for to deliver out of their edge investments, and that Aruba will drive for you because of what we built as a platform. And our vision is really to rely on this strategy. Whether you have a campus, branch, or data center, we want to help you get connected, and that's using any of our infrastructure mediums, whether it's SD-WAN, it's Wi-Fi, it's a wired switchboard. We're going to get you onto the network. We're then going to help you protect it by creating centralized policies so that the security follows the individual wherever they go. Whether they connect from here, or here, they should have the same exact experience. And we use software like ClearPass, which is a network access control software, to help protect the environment. We then want to help folks analyze the data that's coming from the network. And again, this is a key, a key growth area for network operators is that there's a lot of data that's stored in there. What do I do with it? So Aruba is using the cloud to crunch all that data and find you, correlations, to look for anomalies, to tell you, hey, this is a reason why your network may not be working so good. So this is what you can actually do to go make it better. And that leads right into acting. So once we've told you where you can make things work better, and we've used the data from the network or the analytics from an end user, now you can take action. You can go and make that network work better for you and your users. And that's going to help you, again, increase profitability and decrease costs. So Aruba's strategy is connect, protect, analyze, and act. And you'll see that it's consistent across our portfolio. I don't know if there's any questions, John. I'm not able to see the chat.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm keeping an eye on that as you go.
Okay. So here's a little bit of the challenges, priorities, and use cases for state and local government. What's evolving today is, citizens' expectations need to become better. We've got to ensure that the public safety and health is there, a la COVID contact tracing solutions. Remote work and management is a huge theme for cities, counties, and even small businesses. Just how do I allow for a user to be productive from home so that we can enforce, social distancing and make sure that our operation is not impacted by an outbreak or any breakthrough viruses? How do we expand connectivity? Give folks the option to connect from anywhere, anytime, any place, but in a secure manner. And then finally, how do we address the economic crisis by lowering costs and getting, removing silos and making things easier to operate? And then finally, how do I provide access to services so that, my people from anytime, any place, anywhere, they can get to the data that's going to help them be productive. And what does that mean as an imperative? We've got to make sure that the data is secure. We got to make sure we've got accountability for who's going on and touching these systems, so that in case there's a breach, we can always go back and we can find out, we can pinpoint the root cause of that breach, and we can look for those low and slow attacks. So these are things that are happening with state and local government today. And here's some of the trends. When it comes to security, 20% of deployed local government devices will be compromised by malware and ransomware attacks. And part of that is because they're unmanaged. And, when there's a new software update, well, no one's looking at that to go and deploy. So that becomes attack surface, and that becomes an issue for any local government. And again, a lot of local governments really scared about ransomware. That's how this comes into play. It's those devices that become, that are unmanaged. When we look at hybrid workplace, in 2021, 45% of the communities will shift to hybrid workforce, meaning they're going to use cloud-based technologies. They're going to want different digital collaboration tools like Asana, like Slack. Everyone's moving mobile, but how do we make sure that whatever data is meant to keep secure, whether it's got PCI compliance, HIPAA compliance, or whatnot, how do we make sure that's secure, but allowing people to have that opportunity to work from anytime, anywhere, and be productive? And then to also achieve a work-life health balance. So 45% of the communities are going to achieve this by 2021. That's half of everybody. Next up, we see that advanced technologies by 2025, 30% of the cities will leverage automation, right? And if you're not using AI or machine learning now, you're going to have to figure that out, because there's just not enough people or enough human capital to help you find and look out for all the bad actors out there. You don't have an engineer who doesn't sleep, at all, and that's the thing about AI machine learning. It's the engineer, it's the security analyst that never sleeps. So you have that opportunity if you can operationalize AI and machine learning. And then finally, smart city. By 2024, and again, I look at a city like San Jose, who endeavors to be the smartest city in the world. We see smart cities spending $203 billion on areas of investment to help with public safety, civic engagement, smart city platforms. So things like gunshot detection for high urban areas and getting that connected to the network and figure out where that's occurring so you can send first responders will be important. Sensors in our buildings to detect mold and detect, something that might damage the actual building and have higher costs later. That's something that will become more operationalized. And so these are some of the solutions that we're seeing come to bear. And I'm not going to read them all out, but I've just kind of highlight a few. Remote work, which we talked about. This is here to stay because of the COVID pandemic. You have to figure out a way to be productive, especially if you have to send folks home in quarantine because they may have come in contact with somebody who's got the virus. If you look at security and energy savings, if you connect your lighting, if you connect your HVAC systems to the network, we can now take the data, take the analytics, we can even shut down those systems when the network knows that there's nobody in that area of the building. Why leave the lights on if no one's going to use them? Why not go and scrape back some savings for saving on power consumption? Over here on the other side, we see health centers. Health centers are going to be more pervasive. How do we get them, HIPAA compliant medical records out to those health centers? As an example, Aruba was able to work with Levi Stadium, which had an Aruba Wi-Fi network. We were able to work with Valley Medical Center to help them get connected so they could be the world's largest vaccine site and deploy vaccines across our community. And the only way we were able to do that is to create a secure connection back to the health and data records that were available at Valley Med Center and make it available on the Levi Stadium network. So again, we turned that whole stadium into a health center. And again, that was done through technology. So just a few things here, to kind of wet your whistle on what are the things that we're helping to solve. Let me advance forward. John, hold me true if there's anything that we need to dive into further. But these are the priorities and pain points with return to work in locations. From a work perspective, we want to provide connectivity. It needs to have implied security. We need to allow for contact tracing so that in case somebody comes into contact with someone with the virus, we can notify them, we can help them from spreading it further within our community and impacting our operations. If we look at the community, we need to provide more public Wi-Fi. In San Jose, they have a really robust program that's bringing it to the East Side communities. Part of what Aruba did in conjunction with East Side Union High School District, which is a customer, we lit up all their parking lots so that people and students could drive up and they could connect to the network. They could do it securely, but they could access their homework and their course materials. We did outdoor classrooms within the campus so that we can have more space for social distancing, give facilities and maintenance a chance to clean up a space before you bring in another classroom. So we're going to use the outdoor space to expand our classroom. And we do provide the mobile Wi-Fi. So if there is a student who's part of the digital divide and there's a homework gap where they don't have connectivity at home, we have some school districts that are buying our remote access points, which I'm not sure if you're able to see. Here's one right here. And what they're doing is they're backhauling it with the LTE network on AT&T or Verizon. And that's bringing them connectivity to the home. And that's a perfect segue into the working from home. We provide, these teleworker APs. We can provide any model of AP can create a VPN tunnel back to the centralized core of your network, bring out those applications to the home, do it securely, do it with compliance. And that's what allowing people to be productive from home or within the workplace. And we're going to see this spread even further. And so here's a little bit of a deeper dive into the remote employee solution. This is the remote AP. I'll really focus on this right here. This is going to extend the agency's SSID into the home. So let's say that, and again, that we have a lot of well-known healthcare customers out there that are doing this, where they send home this remote AP with all the doctors. Now they can get the remote imaging. Now that IT can have control over their internet connection. And it's super simple. You just plug this guy in to your home, to your home internet connection, whether it's Comcast or AT&T. It will build that secure tunnel that's in the, to this appliance that's in the data center, and that's going to enable teleworker capabilities. The same appliance or server that's based in the data center will also do VPN services as a soft client installed on your laptop or your mobile device, and that will provide a level of security. So you show up at a Starbucks, and this thing will instantly fire up because it detects you're on an unsecure network. We also do instant access points. So we can do full branch sites. Let's say that it's the registrar of voters network that needs to be secured, and you only need to turn that up every 4 years or every election season. You can set up a bunch of APs that will provide connectivity and have it bridge back to the data center and be secure. And again, there's a lot of focus on election security now. This is a way to have all your systems and all the data that traverses the election tools be secure back to the data center where it needs to be stored. Any questions, anything? Okay, understanding visitors and spaces. Sorry, just kind of working with my mouse here a little bit. Aruba Central does provide analytics on space usage, so you know which spaces are most heavily used, and you can now ramp up a cleaning schedule. We do also work with location-based solutions so that you can do digital marketing. You can push this out. So if you're a small business and you want to send out a coupon to somebody who walks through your door, you can do that. And you can also understand what are the displays that they're most interested in looking at. What are they most attracted to? So you can go and build it out further and now extend your revenue generating opportunities. We also have just normal connectivity around your public spaces, and we can tell you who's connecting, what they may be doing, but we give you some context around it. And again, that whole contact tracing capability is super important as we start to protect the citizens of the local community. We can automate your connectivity. So what's really cool about Aruba's system is we've integrated a solution called Airpass, and this allows for cellular to Wi-Fi transfer, meaning if I've got my cell phone right here, here's my iPhone, and it's on an AT&T or Verizon-based carrier service, it will automatically connect me to an Aruba-based Wi-Fi network. So again, doesn't matter what carrier it is, but it will automatically attach me to the government Wi-Fi network. So let's say City of San Jose's got a public hotspot network, they're using this technology. You walk into the building, you're already a guest user on that network, and it's secured and it's encrypted. So really cool technology that just makes it easier to attach and to consume services. And then we are asking folks to leverage the network as an IoT platform. So in our access points is Bluetooth 5, which allows you to do some of that granular location-based services. There's a Zigbee radio, which can do things like unlocking doors and integrate with building controls. There's a USB port, so you can plug in an external backhaul connection if you don't have a wired Ethernet drop. There's smart PoE, so you can ramp up connectivity. And in Aruba's latest version of Access Point, on the legacy radios, you can deliver 1 gigabit of performance. On the new Wi-Fi 6E radio system, with all the additional channels that are made available, you can add another 2.5 gigabits of throughput over the air. So one Aruba access point can deliver 3.5 gigabits of total throughput if given the right power over Ethernet and the right amount of backhaul, which is really cool. Some of the things that we can do to help out in the public sector, we do have integration with the gunshot detection system with this solution called Amberbox. So if a gunshot goes off, that data will then be traversed back to a public safety agency like the police department, so they can go and dispatch someone to go and detect, go and review what's happening there. We also have different sensors and different partners that can help leverage the beacon technology and do things like asset tracing and other things, so you can find your most critical assets within your environment. But a lot of flexibility when you use the access point as a platform. And again, we're better together our ecosystem. So because of the strength of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise's brand and Aruba's brand and how long we've been in the market for 18 years, HPE for many more years than that, it's the original startup in Silicon Valley. We have a lot of different partners that want to engage our platform. So for you, it's a turnkey. For you, it's a few button clicks, and you can start to take advantage of the Amberbox. You can start to take advantage of Zebra, for inventory management and for barcode scanning and things like that. You can take advantage of an Envoy to allow for visitors to come into your environment, for you to have a way to track and contact those people in case they come in contact with someone who's engaged COVID. So a lot of different things that are available here. And I think this is what John was talking about, the different ecosystem of partners that we are integrated with. And then lastly, just kind of, summarizing, there are rising demands on the network. We're in the edge to cloud era. It used to be that we were all fixed at a desk in a cubicle. Then came mobility, but it was really for convenience. They used to put it in the lobby or in the conference room so you can get connected when you're away from your desk. And then finally that evolved into pervasive all across the entire enterprise. So it's wall to wall. And then we started moving to the cloud. We took our applications and we started to insert it into the cloud or in a hybrid cloud in a private data center so that it was more centralized, easier to manage, easier to take care of, and that you had better document and data control. And then finally, we're in the era of IoT and 5G. We're going to see iPhones and iWatches and security cameras and connected appliances, connected vehicles, connected printers and AV equipment. All of these things are now going to put more strain on the network. And again, they are now very powerful computing devices that now will engage with these applications that are stored in the cloud. Well, now you need a much stronger network to be able to get this data back to where it's stored in the cloud. And that's what Aruba is providing. So here's the challenges. Again, 64% of enterprises or IT orgs have 4 or more network management tools. So there's a lot of silos and it's hard to manage. There's a lack of visibility and a lack of automation. So 70% of IT teams spend time looking for problems in their network. They're doing troubleshooting as opposed to working on new and innovative projects. We see that 80% of IT orgs are finding IoT devices on their network that they did not install or are not secure. And I think this is very, very much true for public sector. You have wall jacks in every building. What's plugged into them? Who's allowed to plug things into them? Can you control that? Do you have a powerful NAC that's protecting against it? And then finally, 71% of IT budgets are dedicated to running the business, just keeping the lights on. So how do you go and do something innovative that's going to, again, generate revenue and reduce operational complexity? So we're asking the network has got to do more. It's got to do more in order to solve these challenges. And when it comes to edge cloud networking, here's the benefits. Your cloud-based apps, your cloud-based compute, edge-based compute is now more of a reality for you when you have a really strong network. You have more agility to deploy. What if I told you could build out a branch by just sticking out Aruba access points and switches like Lego blocks, and they will just phone home to the Aruba cloud and pull down their configuration and self-configure? Wouldn't that be cool? And that's something we provide. You got to have automated security because end users, they don't care. They just want to get access to their services. Well, you need to wrap security around them so it follows them and they don't even have to think about it. And that's something that Aruba does. And then finally, you have to have the right performance. If the performance isn't there, and I don't know how many times we've been on an airplane where the Wi-Fi network didn't work, you just give up. So if you have the right performance and people are able to get access to their applications and tools, they're going to be productive. They're going to do everything that they're supposed to be doing when they're on the network. And here's the operator imperatives. What should an operator do? What should a city or county do? They should break down the silos. They should try to find unification of their network management tools. They need to integrate software and security into their infrastructure to make the implied security decisions without the end user even aware. Operators need to embrace an open multi-vendor strategy so they can pick the best of breed and get the most out of their investments and not have lock-in. Choose standards-based approach to deploying your network so you're not locked in and you're not paying an arm and a leg for support services, maintenance contracts, user licensing agreements that cost your business without any additional value. And then finally, operators need to automate operations. The more you use AI and machine learning, is the more your people can go focus on new and innovative services to serve the community. And so what does Aruba bring for this? We have what's called ESP. It's the Edge Services Platform. This is Aruba Central. What do? We unify the infrastructure. We give one cloud to manage all of your APs, switches, data center switches, your SD-WAN, and your security. What else do? We provide ZeroTrust Security. So how do we do that? We will use ClearPass, which is a network access control software. We use ClearPass Device Insights to give you visibility to everything that's connected to your network so that it can do so securely, so it can do so without friction. And again, it's wrapped around that user or device so that the end user doesn't have to think about it. And so we're not trusting anybody. We're going to just go and give everybody a secure connection back to wherever they're supposed to go. And then finally, the platform delivers AI ops. We use AI-powered features to find the issues that are impacting your business. We're telling you how you can fix it. And in the future, in the next release of our software, we are providing what's called self-healing or self-driving. If we see the issue and you trust us to fix it, we're going to automatically unpack the scripts and fix that problem for you. And you didn't have to do anything to manually intervene. And that is the next generation that Aruba is driving. And we do this all as a service in our public cloud. So you can consume Aruba Central Network Management in our cloud, which is based in AWS and Azure. Or you can deploy Aruba Central on-premise, and you can actually hire Aruba and HPE Enterprise to run your network for you as a full network as a service. And that's called GreenLake, and that's an option for you. And we will do this for any use case, whether remote users, your branch locations, the cloud, your campus locations, or your data center. And again, here's a little bit of a bigger image of that. And let me just advance forward one more. And so this is, again, the infrastructure pieces that we provide. This is how we deliver software-defined policy. We give you visibility. We authenticate users and devices. We'll provide that continuous monitoring. So if some device gets compromised, we can kick them off the network before they do damage. We enforce policies centrally. So you only have one place to build it. And you can, again, unpack your infrastructure like Lego blocks, and that policy will follow anywhere you put that infrastructure. We also provide unified threat management with some third parties to go and find what those threat actors are and help you to respond against them. And then finally, the AI ops piece. We give you services to help you onboard users securely, to provision your network automatically. We give you orchestration. So if you have to build out a new service or change your network or put out a new security policy, you could do it from one point and it will expand to your entire environment. We provide analytics on what the network's doing, and we crunch that data. And finally, we give you location services. So you get things like contact tracing, and we can help you manage your environment. You can get all those agencies to use the same infrastructure, just like Santa Clara County. You have a network in a box solution. So when Aruba deploys, we have a mobile installer app that allows for our technology, all of what you see here, to be deployed by just looking at a serial number and then saying, hey, this is where it belongs to the bucket that it should be configured under. And then we have cloud managed gateways that deliver SD-WAN and across MPLS, internet, or LTE cellular connectivity. So it's going to connect your branch locations back to your core campuses as if they were an extension of the campus. And again, that's all using Aruba's cloud to coordinate. And I think this is the part that addresses the security. So in order to protect, one of the things that Aruba has is what's called ClearPass Device Insights. It will use AI and machine learning to sniff out and detect every single device that's connected to your network. So once you have visibility into everything that's connected, you can then protect it. No visibility, then what am I protecting against? What am I, what needs more security? You've got to have something like this to know what's there and what needs to be protected. And once you do, we can start to understand what they're doing on your network. So there's no reason why a security camera should be reaching out to a website in Russia when it's supposed to be backhauling security video footage back to the cloud only. And so from there, we can create centralized policies. And some of the policies we might create, we might have a staff policy, which is different than the BYOD policy, different than the IoT policy, different than the visitor policy. And again, a staff who's on a staff laptop, they should probably be given access to any cloud apps or even the internal streaming applications so that they can use the AV inside of their campus. But maybe the BYOD devices shouldn't. Maybe they shouldn't be able to access the air group or the streaming capabilities, or maybe a citizen or visitor should not be able to. So you can create that policy and you can now limit where people can go and effectively segment your network and stop them from going places where they can cause damage. And you could do that across an access point or a switch. And what is ZeroTrust Security for state and local government? Initially, let's provide secure citizen and staff Wi-Fi access. Let's give them that automated segmentation. That's something that Aruba's foundational for our architecture. You want to ensure the PCI compliance, so you can separate any sales traffic and make sure that you're compliant and you don't fail an audit there. You can make sure if you're doing any clinics or hospitals that you have HIPAA compliance and you're not sharing any personally identifiable information. If you want to deploy new IoT devices, right, like cameras, safety devices, temperature monitors, condensation monitors, scanners, any AV equipment, wrap a policy around it so that they can't go off the reservation and do things they're not supposed to do. And again, we're going to do that by authenticating so you know exactly what those devices are. And again, that's using device insights. Then you want to authorize and provide some access control. You'll use Aruba's ClearPass policy manager and segmentation to protect these devices. And then you want to detect threats or malware on known devices or users. And that's when you use ongoing threat detection. That means you're going to integrate with maybe a Palo Alto, a Zscaler, a Checkpoint Technologies to go and find, hey, where, if this device is compromised, let's go ahead and tell ClearPass it's compromised and stop them from talking to the network and go and notify that user, hey, your device is compromised, take it down to IT. Go and check it out. Go and run your virus detection. Go and run your antivirus. Go and get clean. And we won't let you back on the network until we know you're clean. So that's how we can do zero trust for state and local. Step 3, analyze and act. You want to redefine the IT outcomes. And so that's the AI assist feature, AI search, AI insights. You got to use more AI to expand the capability of your team. And that gives you great results. You're going to have 90% faster issue resolution. You're going to have a 25% capacity increase from your help desk. They're going to be able to deal with more users that have more real problems. And again, 95% accuracy in identifying a specific root cause. And it's going to save you on that 70% of the time that's used to do troubleshooting if you can more accurately find the issues and go deal with them. And again, just analyzing and acting, use those insights, resolve and react and to those issues quickly, and then you can optimize your environments and make everything better. I think that's it. That's the last slide I got. Here's the last build out of it. You can understand staff, citizens, and visitors by leveraging those analytics, see what they're doing, what they're consuming. You can prioritize the most critical applications, whether that's your public safety application or some kind of operational software. You can make sure that nothing ever interferes with it. You can roam large facilities. So if you have a conference center or an airport, we can make sure that that user stays connected from terminal to terminal. And then you can stay ahead of issues so that if you see that there's a problem, go do something about it, right? If you see a problem, let the network do something about it. Those are things that Aruba does. So I think that's it. And our time is up, but just wanted to give that last bit of color there.